Hey Reagan, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks.
Okay. Nice to be connecting with you,
Yeah, and
ex-
you.
except over the circumstances. But what can we do?
True.
So yeah, I don't know if you've watched a couple of these episodes. Obviously, we keep it kind of casual, just kind
Mhm.
of let the world get to know you a little better than DOJ press releases.
Oh, Lord. Thank
um,
God.
yeah, I was talking to my wife last night. She's like, I don't think those can ever be removed. And I'm like, no, because I'll look at Google Roger Stone still, and that's the first thing that pops up. So I mean,
I don't know. The internet's forever, right?
yeah, no matter how hard you try and be anonymous.
And everything's true.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Believe all you read, right?
Yep.
So yeah, let's talk about a little bit of obviously your husband's situation and
Okay.
like how this all stemmed from in the beginning.
Okay. Way back when. So, my husband is Mike Kyle. He was hired by Netflix in 2011 to be their VP of IT operations. And he had two main goals. One was to make the IT department as efficient as possible, and most importantly, to take Netflix to 100% cloud IT. And back in this time, 2011, that was a very revolutionary thing. Netflix was a pioneer in this area, right?
And they
So,
were still that was still during the DVD phase, right?
oh yeah. This actually, he was brought on pretty much the exact same time where they were trying to split the company in between the Flickster, which would do streaming, and Netflix, which would do the DVD, and that turned into a disaster. But anyway, yeah. So this was early days of Netflix. They only had about 2,000 employees back then. It's now, I think, over 16,000. So anyway, his job was to take Netflix to 100% cloud-based. And in order to do that, he had to work with startups because this was technologically forward-thinking. And so in order to do that, he became an advisor to several of these startup companies that were working with Netflix to take them to the cloud. And these advisory positions, they were compensated typically through a very small amount of equity, sometimes a small salary. And they were all contracts prepared by legal firms. They were all out in the open. He was very open about it. There were when a company brought him on as an advisor, there were press releases. He was on their websites. He spoke at conferences. Like none of this was hidden. Right? It was on LinkedIn, and Netflix leadership even knew he was an advisor. The problem is they claimed that he did not sufficiently disclose his compensation. Fine, right? Um, so after he left Netflix, he went to Yahoo to be their CIO. Sorry, I'm trying to recount all this. It's been so many years.
I know you probably had to tell the story over and over, and you're like, okay.
I'm kind of like, what's important, what's not important.
Yeah.
So after he left to go to Yahoo, several of his former Netflix employees wanted to work with him over at Yahoo. So they interviewed there, and a couple even ended up joining him. And when this happened, the CFO of Netflix called him and said, "Stop it! Stop poaching employees," in a very threatening manner. And Mike said, "I'm not poaching them. They want to work with me. They're following me." And a month after that, the CFO called a personal meeting with him and said, "Look, you didn't properly disclose your compensation from these relationships." And he said, "Good luck," walked out the door. About a month later, Netflix filed a civil suit, which is fine. Like, you had a policy disagreement here. Like, the heart of this case is he didn't properly disclose his compensation, even though Netflix had no formal disclosure policy. Netflix was the no rules company, right?
Yeah.
So they filed a civil suit. Fine, we settled that in That was November of 2015. It was settled. It should have been done. Within weeks, 14 FBI agents raided our house. That was the first clue, like anything criminal might have been going on. But they raided the house, and then that was it. There was nothing. 2016 goes by. 2017 goes by. And finally, in the spring of 2018, almost 4 years after he left Netflix, he's indicted on 22 counts of honest services fraud. Now, honest services fraud is a very little known statute. I doubt anyone who's not a lawyer has ever heard of it.
I've never heard of it.
No. Yeah, me neither.
No, I think most people, the day they hear of it is the day they're charged with it. And basically the statute, and sorry, Chris, I know you hate the word statute, but the statute itself is, I do too, is basically depriving someone of their intangible right to honest services. That's it. And it's entirely judge-made law. And what it really means is when a fiduciary accepts bribes or kickbacks in exchange for some formal action. And it's most often used against public officials, but it can be used against private individuals and fiduciary relationships also.
Well, maybe we could use it against all the judges.
Oh, yeah.
Let's use it against all the judges, right? The honest services statute.
I mean, it could probably be used against anybody who gets paid for anything, right? You could potentially use that. It's very abusive statute. It's Supreme Court obviously hates it and has narrowed it over the years, but it's still there, waiting for unsuspecting people to fall into its trap. So that was 2018. 2021, we go to trial. It was delayed for a year because of COVID. And let's see what else. Yeah, so also a month before trial, the prosecution says, you know what? The indictment also charged property fraud. Now, property fraud is basically, I'm trying to steal your money by duping you out of it, right? So what the government was claiming was, that Netflix lost money on these contracts, that they weren't valid. And it's like, that's not even a valid property fraud theory. You have to be trying to take their money. Like just causing somebody else to lose money is not a valid theory. But that didn't stop them. That was 1 month before trial. So basically there was 22 counts of honest services fraud. They then split each count into an A and a B. So the jury couldn't convict on a honest services fraud theory and or a property fraud theory. And so during the trial, the government kind of goes back and forth between these two theories. Like, there was quid pro quos. He only granted contracts to vendors if they made him an advisor. And also the technology was crap and Netflix lost money. Which there was no actual evidence to that.
Yeah, Netflix.
At any point during the trial. I'm sorry?
Netflix looks like they're doing pretty good now. They made it through all the.
It's amazing, isn't it, that they managed to.
Yeah, they got over this hurdle real easy, right? It was.
Yeah.
It went through a tough time, and thank God they were able to get over it.
This makes me wonder why. Maybe that's why they're doing all these DEI shows now too. Everything is usually leaning that way. I wonder if there was some correlation for all these prosecutions they brought to people.
Oh, well, and that's where I think this process.
That's my tin hat on right there. But still.
Oh yeah, I'll put my tinfoil hat on with you. Right? I think that's where this prosecution came from. Clearly Netflix is very much in bed with the government.
Every person with any common sense can tell that just based on some of these shows that are on there now, and then some of the shows that my wife and I really liked. Like the first season of Glow, we thought was great. And then season 3, everybody turned gay. It's just like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah, we've seen a lot of that. Like, what happened to my show?
Yeah.
But it's not everything that you watch now. And Netflix leads some sort of, especially, and and it's not us. It's the shows our kids watch, which is crazy.
Oh, yeah, they're transing the kids, right? Like it's so ridiculous. But it's also, it's not just their content, it's their connections. Like Netflix CEOs, huge Democrat donors, like mega donors.
Well, yeah, even the guy that started it, what's his name?
Hastings, yeah.
Reed.
Yeah, he's donated millions.
Said now she's going to go after anybody that any MAGA people she's going to go after.
Yeah, Susan Rice is on the board.
Forgot about all that. That was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, that was 2 weeks ago. Yeah, it's a lot of news happening between now and then.
But why is Susan Rice on their board? Does she make movies? Is she a tech expert?
No,
I know.
She's funneling money from the government to them.
Yeah, and 1 year after Obama leaves office, he gets a 9-figure deal with Netflix for movies. Like it's all right there. Like, you telling me there's no quid pro quo in those relationships? Please.
I did a long time ago read a book by the guy that also helped start it, Mark Randolph. It was actually pretty interesting. Yeah. I mean, he left early on, but there's a quote from that book that always stuck with me, and it's basically nobody knows anything. Like, people, even and I took this with our attorneys. Our attorneys were telling us this and that. I'm like, you don't fucking know anything. Like, until it's been proven and done, like, all stats are out the window. Like, because things obviously change. So I think that's why we're all here.
Yeah.
Change, some accountability, some integrity, and just
back to the tin hat. I think why Obama's paid and on the board of Netflix and whatever else he did is supposedly all these secret societies and all these things that they've been involved with, like the Pizzagate and all the other nonsense that they've been involved with, that's eventually hopefully come true. That's going to be proven true on TV. It's because supposedly part of the secret society is that somehow, some way they have to tell you. So they're telling you, if they're on the board of this TV, of these companies, and they're telling you what they're doing, supposedly, then it has to be what gets out to the people to see. And like now everything I watch, like even Epstein Island, now the things you've seen, and like I'm like, oh my God, that movie Eyes Wide Shut is true.
It does make you wonder, like, what the hell?
Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
Mike, I actually just saw a text from your prosecutor. He said your tin hat's actually made out of 24 karat gold because your lavish lifestyle.
My lavish lifestyle, yeah. He's probably posting that tin hat putting it right now to evidence again.
That's why. Well, that's one reason it's so hard to talk about this, because probably most people think you're nuts, and it's like, no. When you're on the other side of a government hunt, like, you realize what it's really all about.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be people that don't care. They'll believe every word that the government says, and it's just locked in. And then there's obviously people that luckily have some common sense. And I know all three of us have probably lived through this the past. I mean, yours has been going on for a long time, Raegan, but like
8 years.
Yeah, but like you've lost people, but then hopefully you've had people actually step up and be closer because they know who you guys were beforehand.
Yeah, fortunately, we've had a few really staunch supporters. People stand by us, and it means the world. It really does.
Yeah, and it's been good for me because like my kids go to private school, but I've already said this before. Like a lot of the moms there are just like they're like in high school still. Like, you know, they're cliquey, love to talk shit, blah blah blah. And then luckily my best friend, his kids go there, and he's very successful, and he's Mr. Personality, and he's like, so many people reach out. He's like, I'm glad you're doing stuff like this. Or even after I did Roger Stone's radio show, like anytime someone would call and talk shit about me, he'd just literally send the link. And they'd be like, oh, I had no idea, like, because it's all framed that you know, Mike's basically a mass murderer, and all of us are like horrible people. Like, that's how they frame everything. So it's just,
Oh yeah, the media in Mike's case was just basically like, oh, he almost single-handedly brought down Silicon Valley. Like, okay,
Yeah.
If
it's
he would have,
ridiculous.
I would have never had a business. Then I wouldn't be talking to you guys.
Like, this is how it works, people.
Right? Like if he would have done that, I would have never had a business, and I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, you were the pre-IPO
Yeah.
market guy, right? Like
I'm
you know how it works.
I'm the Ponzi schemer that's still making money.
Yeah.
You know.
So how did the trial go? Because you went to trial, right? Or he went to trial.
Oh, the trial was so stupid. So Mike's trial was supposed to be March of 2020, but of course, what happens in March of 2020? COVID. So his trial was delayed until February of 21, then March of 21, and finally April of 21. So his trial was one of the first to occur after COVID restrictions lifted. And Chris, living in California, we were in some of the strictest COVID
Oh, it was the most retarded
regulations
thing
ever.
Like,
Yeah. So Mike's
arresting
trial.
people surfing in the water by themselves.
Yeah, exactly. And so Mike's trial was almost a secret trial. Nobody, no public person was allowed to attend. I almost was not allowed to attend. I only found out the week before the trial started that I would be able to attend, but I had to sit in the back.
In a hazmat suit.
Pretty much. So yeah, every witness testified wearing a mask behind plexiglass.
And
The jury
accused of ethical violations.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just saw.
For trying to tell Georgetown's law department to take out DEI classes.
Yeah, I saw Caputo posted that story just a few minutes ago.
So dumb. I'm sorry. It's just so dumb. It's just dumb. The dumb phone with the dumb network of stupid.
Well, they're just trying to. I feel like the liberals are just trying to gaslight because they know they're in the crosshairs now for all the shit they've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
So sorry. Keep going, Raegan.
Sorry.
Damn you, Mike.
No problem.
Stupidity, and they just reacted.
I'll try and put a breaking news little thing when you say that. Mike.
Oh yeah, good idea. So all witnesses testified wearing a mask behind plexiglass. Everybody had to wear a mask at all times. The lawyers, the judge. Mike was the only person who was allowed to testify maskless. So thank God for that much, at least. The jury was scattered throughout the whole courtroom, in the gallery. Some were seated way in the back. And like how is this fair?
Yeah.
It was a joke. And anyway, so the trial took about 2 weeks of testimony. Very little actual evidence brought forth. It was all conjecture. The whole case was conflict of interest, which is not a crime. Okay.
Yeah.
See what else? Yeah, it was just them emphasizing over and over conflict of interest, conflict of interest, conflict of interest. Every government witness testified for the vendors was like, look, we had to bust our ass to get that contract. Netflix was not an easy company to work for or work with. They all testified that my husband was a taskmaster. He was very demanding. It's like, you have to perform or you're out. Like his advisory work was to get them to a point where they could take Netflix to the cloud. Okay. But the government always treated this as basically a classic bid rigging scheme, right? Where like he wasn't going to be able to just go out to a bunch of companies who were providing cloud services and get a bunch of bids. That's not how it worked back then.
Yeah.
Right? It was very transformational. But that was used against him in the trial. It's like, oh, you're using unproven technology. You're fleecing Netflix through these contracts. You're losing all this money. And there was zero evidence to that. Like he was always very highly praised at Netflix. And when he went to leave to Yahoo, like Reed Hastings and his boss even tried to get him to stay, even though that's technically against their policy. It's like, if you want to leave, leave. We don't care, right? So then 7 years later, trial was 2021. He left Netflix in 2014, right? So 7 years later, it's, oh, you were fleecing the company. You weren't working in our best interest, blah, blah. And it's just such garbage. It was all lies. But, and the one big tell, well, the government's case was quid pro quo, right? Like, these companies would make him an advisor. He would grant them a Netflix contract. Again, no evidence to that. And I know the jury wasn't totally on board because they asked one question during their deliberations. And their question was, for there to be a bribe or kickback, does the giver have to know it's for services? Does the giver have to know it's for services, for unlawful services? Does the giver have to know this? And that's very telling, because it's like they weren't sure if these were bribes and kickbacks at all.
Yeah.
Right? Like, in order to have a bribe or kickback, there has to be a meeting of the minds. There has to be a quid pro quo. Hey, I'm making you an advisor to get that contract, right?
Yeah.
And this was after all the testimony. This was after reading all the instructions. They were clearly confused. And the judges said, go back and read the instructions. And, unfortunately, they still convicted. And another telling thing is that a week after the trial, one of the jurors, who unfortunately was an alternate, emailed Mike totally of his own accord and said, look, I really didn't see a crime here. And I can't believe the government spent so many resources on this case. So, it really doesn't matter. They don't have to prove anything beyond a reasonable doubt, please.
Well, yeah, and I think the AUSAs and even the judges see, because most of them were former AUSAs, and I think they know, like, there's so much money being spent to do this conviction. If it doesn't go through, like through a plea, forcing a plea, or obviously going through a trial, like, we're losing money. But if we get that conviction, it's going to be inconvenient for the defendant for a few years, and they're going to have to start over, but we're going to get all that money in forfeiture or restitution or whatever the different, obviously each case has different situations or fines. Like, that's all gone. It's hundreds of thousands of dollars and thousands of man hours down the drain. So that's why you look at it. There's I think it's like a 97, 98% conviction rate in federal court.
Oh yeah.
And if you look at state courts, it's more even. It's like 46 to 50 something, depending on violent crime or white collar.
Well, yeah, the state courts have rules that I think are at least a little more beneficiary to the defendant. In federal court, it's all the prosecution. Everything is weighted in their favor.
And people don't get that.
No.
Until you're living it.
Yeah, I think people think trials are like what you see on TV. You all get it, and I kind of thought that too. I was worried about it at one point. Like, you get into a courtroom and it's like, oh, the lawyers are going to shout at each other, and you can bring any evidence you want, and the truth emerges, and it's like, no, you're pretty much handcuffed. You can't present any evidence you want. You can't ask any question you want. It's all weighted in their favor.
Well, yeah.
The judge steers it right for them. If they get if they start, their trajectory starts falling back, the judge pushes them right in check to it, which is ridiculous.
Like, any motion the government wants will be granted. Any motion you ask for, denied. It's almost.
We had something that we overnight, one of the lawyers complained about, and I already wrote it, so I'm not changing my mind. That's a good. He goes, oh, that's a good argument for that. But you know what? Being that I already wrote it, I'm just not changing it. Like, that's it. He wrote it. He took the 3 seconds of his life to write it. So now that he doesn't give a shit. It's okay. Let's go back to ruining people's lives just because of that.
Yep.
At least you guys lawyers do motions. We kept pushing ours, and they didn't. We had not a single motion filed for us.
Really?
That's why our attorneys kept quitting. They kept going to because we had court appointed for the first 2 years, and they kept asking to be removed every time we were like, hey, like, we're doing all the legwork here. Here's documented proof. Like, they shouldn't have done this or that or the other. And they're like, well, you can take that in appeals. We can't do anything now. I'm like, that's not what we're reading.
Mm-hmm.
So they would just ask the judge to be removed, and then we get another personal injury attorney. That's who they were giving us. It's just like,
Nice.
oh my God. So
That's
so
horrible.
what like stuff did the prosecutor do that you think was like misconduct, lies, any of that kind of situation, or withheld too? Obviously there's Brady violations and all these new terms that we all got to learn, you know.
Yeah, we all get a unwanted legal education, right?
Yeah.
One we never wanted. But, oh boy, good question. It's just their story. It's just their version of events that like has no basis in reality. And one, again, I think the big one is introducing this last minute property fraud theory 1 month before trial. Like, what the indictment was 3 years ago. Now, all of a sudden, a month before trial, it's like, oh yeah, we're charging you with property fraud. Even the judge during the charge conference was like, whoa, she said literally, I'm thrown for a loop. I didn't see it coming. But nonetheless, she said, oh no, the indictment properly gave you proper notice. There you go. Like,
I mean, everything I've learned, they at least threaten because they don't want to go to trial, so they want you to plead. So that was probably their last ditch effort. And then you guys,
yeah, I mean, I think they knew they had a weak case on the bribes and kickbacks. It's like, oh well, we'll throw this at you too, you know. So it's basically just whatever they can throw at you.
oh yeah.
Yeah, and their entire case, again, like I said, was conflict of interest, which isn't criminal. I think I did a word search through the court transcript. I think that phrase conflict of interest was 300 times. They said it during trial. Like, they just drove that over and over again. And that prejudices the jury, right? Like, it's not hard to make somebody look bad.
Well, yeah, and I've seen our jury pool here in California, and you're not getting people that are executives.
No.
Or
no, you're getting whoever can sit there for 3 weeks, right?
You get it, and have at least a quarter of them are asleep throughout the whole thing.
And I don't blame them. There were times during the trial I almost fell asleep. I'm like, God, this is freaking boring. Like, it's all about emails, contracts, blah blah blah. It's like, and again, I think like the jury thinks, well, you wouldn't be here if you didn't do something wrong.
well, that's exactly how I thought in 2019. Like, oh, you know, if you read something on the news, they're like, oh, well, you know, it's the government. Like, they have to be doing these thorough investigations, and you know, it's about justice. But then once you see behind the curtain and you see, you know, Oz, like, you're like, oh no, it's about wins, it's about promotions, it's about money.
Oh yeah.
So let me ask something, Raegan. When there was jury selection, out of the people in the room, at any given moment, was there anybody that says that like, oh, this guy's actually a professional. He might know a little bit about the industry, and he might actually be good, right? When that happens, and then the jury runs to block it.
Well, it's hard for me to say because I was not allowed to attend jury selection because of COVID. But I would have to get, Mike's thoughts on that. But, anybody who might know anything about the industry was kept out, obviously.
Oh, they kept him out. Yeah, there was a lady that she goes, oh yeah, all my friends and neighbors are in pre-IPO. And they charge people whatever they want. Now that wasn't our business model, but all of a sudden, sidebar, the whole jury selection goes into commotion. So that's it, right? Like that gets said, that winds up in the transcript. But guess what? She gets stricken from the record. She can't be a juror. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I think our jury, there was like a college student, just random people.
Common sense college students, so they probably have common sense. They want the
Right,
The
right.
I mean, there was a guy with a cape in my jury.
I think, yeah, one of the jurors, I think we thought was homeless because she was like carrying these giant bags with her every day. And we're like, yikes. I mean, I'm not trying to laugh at anyone, but it's just like,
Yeah, it's not
it's
a
supposed
jury
to
of
be
your
a
peers.
jury of your peers, right? Like, and that's another thing, like these prosecutors, they're legal nerds, right? That's all they know. They don't know the industries that they're trying to lord over, right?
Well, same with the
Like
judge.
Michael, you, it's your your investment firm, Chris, you with your entertainment background, like Dr. Ron, the interview you did, what they're trying to decide what tests are medically necessary or not. And it's like, you don't know shit. You don't know how it really works out there. But somehow they got the police power. Really frustrating.
I think for Dr. Ron, it's because the manipulation of the vaccine that was going to get rolled out no matter what, and Dr. Ron was going to debunk that probably nationally or internationally.
Mm-hmm. Like they have their own reasons for targeting the people they do.
Right here.
Right? It's not for a lack of real crime out there. It's
cold hard cash.
Mm-hmm.
Cold hard cash to steal from the people that work hard.
Or just to get their names in the media, right? Like,
well, yeah, I mean, all these career prosecutors, I think their desire is to either be a judge someday, which is fucking scary, and it's been happening for decades, or get into politics somehow. Like a lot of politicians have a legal background. Like, I don't know if I've ever. I mean, I've seen a lot of just 60-year-old prosecutors out there too that just want this as their career. I don't know how they can sleep at night. They must be raging alcoholics or something to help them cope with just the shit.
I think some just like that ability. They see themselves as heroes. Like they're wearing the cape, they're the good guys, they're taking out the bad guys, and they just like that power they have. Look, prosecutors are the most powerful people in this country. They can ruin a life that fast. They file an indictment and it's done. And I think some just like that. Others want that cushy private sector job. Others want a judgeship. Others want their names in the paper, just being like, oh, I bagged a Netflix executive, right? Like they don't always have the most noble reasons for going after the people they do.
Yeah. I mean, I still hope there are some. Those are probably not the popular ones. But I know it looks bad if they drop a case. Like that's not good for them.
I'm sure many of them are good people who stick to the mission of doing justice and want to do the right thing, but it doesn't take that many to cause a lot of damage.
Yeah, and ruin the integrity
Mm-hmm.
of what justice is supposed to be.
Yep.
They don't care who they burn to get their selfish motives across.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of bad incentives, right? Like that's how we think this prosecution came about was Netflix leadership and their law firm that handled the civil suit, who are also big Democrat donors, just use their leverage with the DOJ to say, go after this guy. And this very young, ambitious prosecutor was like, ooh, Netflix executive, yay. And
what are you dealing with now? Like today at this given moment with this?
Well, so we appealed. That took almost 4 years for various reasons. So our appeal was, we had oral arguments in March of 25. 2.5 weeks later, the Ninth Circuit comes back with not even a real opinion, like an unpublished memorandum, which basically means they disposed of the case. You can't use it for precedent. And it was like a 7-page, all your arguments fail. Sorry. We tried to do an en banc review. Of course, that was denied. So our last plea was to the Supreme Court. All right, so we filed the writ of certiorari in fall of 25. And we were kind of hopeful there look, it's always a long shot, the Supreme Court, right? Like, you might have a chance of winning the lottery is having your case heard. But at the exact same time, there was also the big, I don't know if you heard of it, the big FIFA soccer bribery case going on, which was an honest services fraud case. And so we were kind of hopeful. We were like, okay, well, maybe our case will kind of get lumped in with this one. But of course, the government just ended up dropping the charges in that case. They just took the L. Like, no, never mind. And so our certiorari writ was denied in December, and Mike finally began serving his sentence in January.
Oh, so at least let him stay out during the appeal process. That's nice.
Well, here's where he got very lucky. He got bail pending appeal, which is very rare. I think one of the reasons we got it is because our prosecutor just happened to be on paternity leave at the time. And so the government didn't even oppose our motion for bail pending appeal. Like the other prosecutors that were, I guess, substituting for him were like, they didn't care. Like they weren't invested in the case. So we got very lucky and we were granted bail pending appeal.
Who was, you know who appointed the original judge for the case? Was it I'm assuming California is pretty weighted blue, but I know there are some, Trump's has been appointing judges.
For the district court, the judge was an Obama appointee. For our appeal, it was interesting. There was a Trump appointee and an Obama appointee and actually a Reagan appointee. It's like 80 years old, like didn't even ask a single question during oral argument, just sat there like mute.
Yeah, he was just there for his pension.
Exactly. He was brought in from the Sixth Circuit. Like I guess they were short a judge or somebody, so they brought him over. So it's just, I'm just done with the courts. Like it felt like we had some really very good legal arguments, just based on Supreme Court precedent and the fact that, the prosecution bullshit that they pulled. And I know I'm biased, but I think we had some really good arguments, and it just felt like we kept getting the door slammed in our face again and again and again. It was like, nope, don't care. Right?
By design.
Yeah, and I don't know why some cases break through and they get appealed, and I don't know what the difference is, but unfortunately, it was not us.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because there's more media about it. I mean, I just kind of feel like the only way to win this kind of stuff, especially for people that, one, aren't guilty, so they can stand up, and obviously every attorney tells you, like, don't say anything, even if you're didn't do it, blah, 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 because they're just going to use that against you. I'm like, I was always like, okay, but everything I'm saying is the truth and it's documented. Like, but
well, they can twist whatever you say right against you, right? Like, and they'll do it.
That's
so
where
I get that, like,
there just needs to be more accountability on the system.
More oversight for sure.
Well, yeah, because I mean, like you said, all these prosecutors just have power, and it's unchecked power.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's why this could happen to you in California when Trump's president back then, because DC doesn't know what's going on in California. Like, it's all. I mean, I don't even know how the oversight works, but apparently it's not working.
I don't think they have any even in their own offices. Like, I think they just do whatever they want, right?
Yeah.
Like, no one's telling you maybe shouldn't bring this case. No, they do whatever they want. And if they do something wrong and they make a hash of it, there's zero accountability.
Yeah, and I think it's because obviously the low-hanging fruit group like us is just easy to target. Because they know they can twist their way and get stuff hidden. And
well, I mean, right off the bat, 98% are going to plead guilty, right? Innocent or guilty or innocent, they're going to take a plea because they have to. Yeah, you have no resources to fight the federal government, so that very rarely are they tested. But even if you go to trial, it's weighted against you. Like,
Well, and the bullshit thing is even some of these corporations that the government does go after. I mean, to even use like the Sicklers for all the Oxy stuff, or some of these other kind of banks that got in trouble for the PPP, like just rubber stamping stuff.
mm-hmm.
They might start in a criminal case, but nobody's gone to prison. It's just a fine, and then they kind of buy their way out, and that's just the standard. I mean, that's literally what happened with all the Oxy stuff. I mean, they said they were going to do stuff, and then that kind of just disappeared. No one ever knew what happened to that family. They're still.
Well, they'll go into a non-prosecution agreement, right? Or maybe they'll pick an employer too and throw them to the wolves, and they'll be prosecuted. And it's like, oh look, we cooperated.
Yeah.
So it's really sad.
It is. So what was did he have a restitution, forfeiture, all those fun words?
Oh yeah. So they actually so they also brought 7 counts of money laundering.
Well, yeah, that's standard.
Yeah, because it's like it doesn't take much to get a money laundering. It doesn't mean like you're funneling money through 20 different shell companies, right?
No, you can just write a check from one bank account and the other, and that's how they do it. Like
you bought everybody coffee with cash, and you were money laundering because you bought coffee. You bought the Starbucks. I mean,
that's what our case was. It was like, well, if the government says, well, we think this money you earned is the proceeds of crime, yeah, and you transfer it from one bank account to another, well, you're money laundering. Even if those accounts are still in your name, you moved money.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there were 7 counts of that just because the government declared his legitimate income was proceeds of crime. And yeah, he would move it from, a checking account to a savings account. Well, one of those transactions when we bought our house, he moved $70,000 from a savings account to a checking account so we could put the down payment on our house.
Go with the rest going on. Like I've done that too.
Yeah. So now we have to forfeit the house because the house is in the nexus of the crime, right? So yeah, they went after our home. So so even the judge at sentencing took pity on us and said, well, I'm not going to kick a family out of the house. So that $70,000 turned into a $700,000 money judgment order against us. Also, there's $500,000 to Netflix. So we got to pay poor Netflix, really hurting for cash. We got to pay them $500,000, right? It really burns.
So they can fund Obama's next project about it.
They made that in the first 5 minutes of this call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, they can give the Obamas $100 million. They can give Prince Harry and Meghan $100 million. What for crap, right? But you fleeced us out of $500,000.
I'm assuming you're not a Netflix subscriber anymore.
Actually, we are. We did try to cancel once, and then the kids were like,
"Well, yeah, I have kids too."
Fine. Like it's not like my $20 a month is.
You should be that person that gives everybody the password.
Actually, we get ours free. We have T-Mobile, so we get ours free. But
you'll be the one that like your uncles and aunts and cousins and friends.
I'll take it on the Jumbotron. There's our password.
Yeah, Chris will help you with the billboard.
They've been trying to crack down because Erin just texted me the other day because she's at her halfway house in Riverside and that wanted her to log into the Wi-Fi saying she's not at home right now on the network where all the TVs are. So
no, but it just says update your household. That's all it is now. It doesn't say anything more.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least your judge was nice in doing that. Our judge literally said, "I don't care about your house." Straight up in the transcripts, and then even though the prosecutor removed it from forfeiture a week before the hearing for sentencing, and then tried to go buy it 2 weeks after, so with our money. So,
are you going to be able to stay there?
Oh no, we've already moved. Like the foreclosure sale went through this is in January last year. So it went through, I think, on the 20th or the 21st. And that's what my buddy was trying to buy it because he's a big mortgage guy and he had about $1 million. He said he could do it because, I mean, at the time when they put the forfeiture on it and, basically put a lis pendens against the property, even though we had bought it 3 years before COVID, had nothing to do with it. But since those checks were written out of the same checking account, like
Nexus.
they don't know how to define commingled, but okay. They had done that, and we had about $1 million because the house was worth about $2 million at that time, and we only owed like $700,000 or $800,000, and we a lot of money in not remodels, but like updating things and landscaping and all that stuff. So, and that was right before COVID, so we put out money then, and he had that lis pendens, so we couldn't pull out cash for lawyers, anything, couldn't sell it, couldn't do anything with it. And then a week before sentencing, he's like, the government doesn't have an interest in this property anymore. We're going to let it go into foreclosure. And
it's just paperwork for them, right? It's your life.
And then, that at that foreclosure sale, my friend had a buyer go out to it to try and purchase it. And he was able to bid up to $1 million. The bank ended up buying it back for like 1.2, but in the text messages, it's like, the only odd thing was there was government agents literally at the auction bidding on the property up to about 1.1. And he's just like, I've never heard of that. And I've asked many attorneys after that, even ones that deal with kind of lis pendens and government represent, like unless you have like a house that has like tax issues, then a government might come out. Because like if they're owed money, they kind of have an interest in it, but this is way out of left field. So,
we got a lis pendens too. It's still there after 11 years. So.
Yeah, those are fun.
Yeah.
They
want to crush you, they will crush you.
Yeah, and if you don't cooperate, they just keep doubling down, and
if they want to rob you,
whatever they can. So
they want to steal from you.
I mean, in our case, they got mad because we were renting out our house on VRBO for extra income, and then we for weekends and stuff because it was a nice house, so we just go stay at my parents or whatever because they live 10 minutes from us. And the government tried to shut that down by claiming we didn't own the house. Like they went to VRBO, and VRBO, credit to them, basically told the government to fuck off.
Wow, they usually just bend right away. That's great.
Yeah, because it was all private information, and we showed here's the mortgage, it's in our name, blah blah blah. So they were able to shut down Aaron's PayPal account in Venmo for some reason. I think they were just trying to make sure we couldn't get money from people. It was just they didn't do it to me though. It's kind of just sick how they do that. And I mean, I get it. In the olden days, I think they were trying to get people that were drug dealers, hiding money, but they've twisted it to
anything.
It's a one size fits all, and it's very disturbing.
I've been debanked. I could almost know. I knew when I get a letter that a bank chose to close an account or credit card account.
We had a couple of those.
There they are. Oh, I guess they were bought today. 2 days before Christmas, I remember. I get a call from American Express. It was that was my lifeline at the moment. I was using it to pay all the bills, and I'd figure out how to make the money to pay it off, right? And then they get 2 days before Christmas. Oh, we've chosen to close your account. We've made an internal decision. Hence, they were poking around.
That sounds familiar. That's the whole know your customer, right? Just a little bit of background, and even though you may have a perfectly clean, wonderful relationship with your bank, but it's we just decided to close it. And you're like, shit. Now what do? Do I put my money in the mattress? It's what can you do?
Yeah, I mean, we did the same thing, and we were lucky.
My statements, my money's laughable. It comes in a statement in the mail. It's like a joke because I can't touch it.
Yep.
So what? Obviously, you've been advocating for your husband, and he got what was his sentence again?
30 months, so 2.5 years, basically.
Okay. And he's in Lompoc?
Yeah.
How is that? I'm just curious because if I have to go in, that's where I'll probably go in.
Well, look, it's not great. Weather's nice, at least. Like, it's a nice area.
Yeah, you're got some ocean wind, at least.
Yeah, you got a little ocean breeze. You're right by Vandenberg Space Force Base, so you can see the rockets take off. No, I mean it's okay. I guess if you have to go to prison, it's probably where you want to be. But he's at the camp, so it's just basically like a really just shitty YMCA. You can't leave, right?
That's why, because Aaron was at a camp, so I kind of was on like your side, like hearing stuff about that. But yeah, I was just curious how Lompoc is, like what like if he's got a job there, like how they case managers are, like is he having issues with his credits, shit like that.
Not really. It's just, it's just the BOP. It's the bottom of the barrel, right? So it's nothing works. No employees want to work. It's just crap, right? Like,
well, yeah, I did some research. So to become a correctional officer at a BOP, I believe it's a 5-week course. To become a correctional officer on state things, like for like a county jail or like the state prisons, you have to go through the 6-month police academy. So that's the level of, and Aaron agreed with me 100%. Like you're literally getting a mall cop.
Yeah.
It's literally.
Mike's thing is like, you really don't want like a real job there, because that just kind of puts you on the map.
That's what I think that backfired on her, because she was in the warehouse for doing all the food intake and stuff for all the other, because there was 3 men's facilities, 2 mediums, and then the highest up one that looked gnarly.
What's considered a real job in jail?
Like probably the worst thing is like driving people around. Like you don't want to do that because that really gets you. I mean, some people do, but that really gets you on the map. Like it's basically you don't want to make them work. You don't want to make them do paperwork, basically. So you find the most unobtrusive job you can do. Like I think Mike's doing like record entry for the inmates there, the classes they take and stuff. So it's pretty just low level.
Like with Erin's situation, she was obviously college educated, ran her own businesses, so she immediately became the lead person at the warehouse, because they're like, we've never had anybody here like that made it run so efficient. And I think it literally backfired on her, because instead of giving her the 6 months of halfway house, they gave her 1 month, because I think they just wanted to keep her there because it was running so well.
Yeah.
Money, so. Don't
make yourself indispensable, or don't make them work like that. Yeah. That's it. It's like you want to just keep a low profile, I guess.
But he said, how's the like the other people there? I just saw actually on the news someone escaped from there last night.
It's
like left, like literally walked out of the camp. He's like all over the news. Like there's the manhunt for him right now from Lompoc. So I wonder.
I think we covered this yesterday. You could just walk away, like, right?
Until they bring you back and you go to somewhere where there is a fence.
You go to the shoe, right, which is basically solitary and in a cell.
Well, the stupid thing I found out.
It could have been Mexico by now, and that's it.
Well, he was Mexican,
but then everybody else gets locked down, and everybody else suffers for it.
I just read, though, people not at Lompoc, but there's some other things that were on the news where people go and check in to their camp. It was like on some Facebook groups, and there's no beds, so they're putting them in the shoe for like a week or 2. So they're literally getting there and they're being disciplined like as if they had fucked up.
Well, that's one of the problems now is Terminal Island, which is one of the facilities in LA is closing, and so they're kind of having to like distribute the inmates. So they're getting an influx of people there at Lompoc. So some of the guys that were in the medium security are kind of being transferred down to the camp, and it's kind of chaotic at the moment, and they're nearing full capacity. So I don't know, you might want to look at Atwater, or I think there's another one.
Yeah, it looks hot. Looks hot over there.
Yeah. At least in Lompoc, the weather's much better.
Well, it's only an hour and 10 minutes, hour and a half from our house. So it is close.
Oh, okay, that's good. Lompoc's about 4 hours from us, so it's a haul to go visit them.
Because, yeah, we're in San Luis Obispo, so you probably drive right by us.
Yeah. I'll say hi next time I visit them.
What was I going to say? Do they have the video calls there or no?
No.
No.
Fortunately, it's nice. We're able to talk every day, but it's crappy phones that you can't hear anything and go in and out.
Yeah, I was accustomed to that for a year on your end when I was talking to Aaron, but at least they had the video calls, so we could do 3 25-minute calls, and it's still through that CoreLink system, and you just log in and you can do it that way. So it was good for the kids also. But I don't know why.
They have video, huh?
Yeah, and I don't know. I've heard different things. Some of them have it, some of them don't, or they just took away all the video calls for the guys' camps.
Really?
Because they don't think their kids need to see their dad, I guess. Who knows? So.
Yeah, that's the sad part. It's visiting, you see a lot of little kids there. It's like, shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Really.
But you have been advocating to try and get
more so now. Been pretty quiet until now, I think.
Yeah.
Like I said, Mike was indicted in 2018, so I think things were just different back then. But now, look, like with this group, I think more people are starting to speak out and go on social media and say, "Look, make some noise, right?" Because what else can you do?
Well, and I think
the only thing we can do, it's our right to free speech that they've taken away while we're in this fight. And like I said I've said it every episode. My lawyers don't want me to do this. I don't care, because if I don't fight for myself, which is fighting for my wife and kids, who's going to be there to fight for us?
Yeah, I mean, at first you believe in the court system. It's like, well, we'll figure out the truth, and then you realize, well, no,
that's not happening.
No, not happening. So it's like, well, and it's hard because I'm very much an introvert, and I don't like attention, and I don't like making noise. But I realize that's your only option, is to get your side of the story out there, because otherwise, the media or the prosecutors, they're going to be one to tell the story.
Yeah, and I guess I'm glad. I mean, this is a new administration. I think that's why a lot of people are really pushing hard, is because Trump's seen this firsthand. Like, he went through the process. I mean, part of me kind of wishes he spent a couple days in prison so he actually sees, whoa, this is really, really bad. Let's step up to help even more. But I mean, that's just selfishness on my end. But
remember all the articles? Can he be president from jail? Remember that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm sure he would be in a very different situation anyway than your average Joe would be. But yeah, at least he's experienced it. It's like you see what these prosecutors can do when they're motivated.
Yeah. Motivated by the wrong motivation.
Well, yeah.
That's a sentence. So you put in a pardon request though, right?
Yeah.
And I forget, are you working with an attorney or no? I forget.
We have an attorney to advocate. But as you know, it's hard. It's such a black box process. Like you just kind of hope for the best and make noise, and hopefully please, Mr. President, notice the little guys out here,
we don't get updates either, which is annoying.
Is he more in California, or is he DC, or?
No, he's back east, but I don't know. We're hoping, right? But
What does he say?
well, like there's kind of good news. It kind of seems like one step forward, two steps back, right? Like the administration kind of seemed for a while like pardons were going to be a regular kind of thing, right? And it's like great, and then they stopped all of a sudden for months, right? And then they started back up again, and then they stopped again, and then they start, and then they stop, and it's like. And it's all conjecture. Like people say, like, oh, it's this person who's blocking pardons, or it's that person, and nobody knows what the real story is, or how the best reason to get. You basically got to get it in front of the president, and how you do that, I don't know.
Yeah, that's why we're trying to do this, Mike. I keep meaning to tell you when you post these to start tagging all the regulars too, like Alice Marie and Ed Martin and President. So.
I'm going to, yeah.
I forgot about. I thought about that.
Still getting my bearings in this whole.
Come on.
You gave me the social media stuff. I'm still trying to figure it out. Yesterday, I was able to like, oh my god, I can type on AI and create a nicer picture. You know.
Nice.
So yeah, so you just did the normal, like he just sent it through the DOJ, basically the pardon attorney kind of thing.
Yeah, we did the whole packet, the whole executive summary, the whole thing. We're hoping that Netflix isn't exactly a love of President Trump, so we're hoping to take that angle. You take any angle you can, right? Like you're out of the courts now and you're into politics, and it's
which is good and bad.
So me and Chris were talking last night, and we think we should create a letter to blast out to the Republican Party, and not only, but then it's got to become like a job. We have to send it. Everybody in the group's should email it every 2 or 3 days, re-email it back to them, and mail it at least once a week until we hit somebody that finally sees like, oh my god, I'm getting the same letter 13 times in every 3 days. It's almost like that it's those pestering movements that cause
you got to get noticed, right? Anyway, like.
Well, that was the idea with the Families of Lawfare little spot,
yeah.
And I think this is like almost the letter form of that, because I think we should have it from Families of Lawfare and everyone kind of sign it.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's just another avenue. So
right.
I try and get creative in other ways too. And I feel like the commercials have been a good.
The lost trade of a letter via the mail is, I think, it's something intangible in your hand versus an email that you could just click off and keep going.
Right. Yeah. Go back to.
But if one day they get over a week, they get the same letter 20, 30 times because we all mailed it twice a week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's a good idea. Like, try whatever.
Right.
You never know what's going to work. Yeah.
We have the same letter, and everybody just signs their name on it, and blast it out. So, and just it's. I think it's just another thing that I think we should all put into effect. Send it to our local GOPs and send it to DC and whomever else we could think in between.
Yeah, me and Chris don't have any local GOPs.
You got to go east a little bit. I think Bakersfield, that area, there's a few, but most of them are really bad. Because you're in Bay Area, right?
Yeah, we're San Jose area.
Okay. Yeah, it's California.
Yeah, like don't you kind of feel like you're in Siberia sometimes? It's like we're so far away from all the East Coast action.
Yeah. And it's odd because most of my friends are conservative. I mean, I obviously living in California, I'm sure you have people on you're friends with on both sides, like for the most part. And it's, it's not like Mormonism where you're outcasted for your beliefs. It's more like I like the Chargers and you like San Francisco, or the Niners. It's more. I think most of my liberal friends actually still have common sense, so it's not the new wave of liberalism where it's just.
Well, I grew up in Southern California, which is far more conservative than I would say Northern. Like, I'm very much in the very blue area now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because where are you in Southern California?
Orange County. So.
Okay. Yeah, I have friends that live. Oh, Irvine. One of my good friends lives there. He's actually liberal. He's the one we were doing our TV show with, but he lives in Irvine, and it's actually very red over there. Orange County, but
yeah, unfortunately
Los Angeles and Hollywood's the one that makes the most idiotic noise.
It's always the noisemakers, right?
Kurt Webster just emailed me his phone number.
Oh, that's the one you're talking to a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah, he emailed me yesterday again.
Oh. So what you have kids? How's life? Work, job, supporting. So
yeah, I have two sons. They are 17 and 14. And it really that's the most heartbreaking part. The hardest part for me is, when all this bullshit when Netflix started, they were toddlers pretty much, and now they're both in high school, and it's like, well, we spent pretty much your whole childhood dealing with legal bullshit, and that's what makes me the most angry. Like, I'll never get those years back,
Yeah.
Anyway, but they're actually doing okay, as good as could be expected. The good thing is, despite all this, we were able to keep them in their house, on their routines, doing what they do. So, fingers crossed, they'll be okay.
We have I have a 14-year-old, and that's a fun age to begin with. The hormones kicking in, so
yeah.
And then add dad not home, like obviously it's like yeah, I get that. Like especially
my son's gonna be 14 this year, and that's what I'm worried about. Me and Nikki and I did such a good job of just shielding them from everything.
Same here.
Yeah, same. We did not. I think you mentioned this before, Chris, too. Is like we didn't say Dad's going to prison until like a couple weeks before. Like, and it's not to hide things from them. It's like, but this is such a horrible burden, and you don't want to put it on them, right? It's not their fight. It's not their problem, and they deserve as normal a life as can be. So, I think we were able to protect them as much as possible.
And it's sad that these prosecutors and the judges don't care about that collateral damage. Like, because everybody to them is apparently a mass murderer. Like, and it's kind of sad. Like,
no, I mean, that's their job, is to portray every defendant as the worst person that's ever lived, right? And it's, that's not to say the parents can't commit crimes, but
no, obviously
really if they took that into account, it's like, is this worth ruining a family over? A good part of the time, I don't think so.
Well, it's making the DOJ or the justice system as a whole lose its integrity.
If you're indoctrinated to not have a family because you're blue, like, and again, I have nothing against them, but I was tried by a lesbian and 2 gay prosecutors. They don't know family life. It was a Friday of Halloween, right? I'll give you an example. They were like, the judge wanted to get into jury instructions, and he goes, and this judge, he was such like we got to start at 9 on the dot, and we end at 2:30, and everybody gets a half-hour break. And he goes, "Do you guys mind if we go till 3:15?" Oh, I kind of have my Halloween plans, like freaking fruit. Like, really? So your Halloween plans are more important than my life. When I'm in New York for this case, when my wife and kids are in Florida, when they should be the ones enjoying Halloween. Now you waiting to get dressed up as a freaking latex, whatever you want to dress up or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's terrible. Like they just. I think part of it is either the grasp or the envy of not knowing how to be a family person with that indoctrination of that other stuff. But I think it goes deeper with that whole of driving the homosexuality and DI and all that other stuff. It's they're trying to kill the families.
I know, it's funny you should mention Halloween because the government actually wanted to use a picture of Mike in a Halloween costume from 2014 as evidence against him. This is how ridiculous they are. Like, he was wearing a Robin Hood costume and he put it on Facebook and he's like, Robin from the Rich, right? And the government wanted to use that as state of mind evidence against him at trial.
That's it.
I'm like, are you freaking serious? Like, even the judge, that was one of the times the judge said no, right? Like, she's like, no, this is stupid. And if a judge tells a prosecutor no, then you know it's stupid.
Yeah.
But it just reminded me of this is the lengths they will go to. It's even to absurdity.
Yeah, it's really disgusting, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
So
he put this on symbolically because he knew what he was doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was pretty much it.
Yeah,
like,
there you go.
Good thing, but like,
and they'll bring the expert, and then they'll spend $500,000 on bringing an expert from the company that made the costume to talk nonsense, right? Then it's absurd.
It really is, yeah. And this is how they win, right? They just twist every stupid little thing into the worst thing ever, and it's not hard to convince a jury that this person is the worst person ever, right? They could do it to anybody. That's what I want people to understand is I don't care how law-abiding you are, a prosecutor could indict you tomorrow if he wanted to.
They are doing it to everybody. Jim Jordan says all the time, if they can do it to me, they'll do it to you. They've been doing it to us, and they just did it to you because they've been doing it to us.
Yeah.
Not because it's the opposite of they can do it to me, they can do it to you. We're doing it to them, so now we're doing it to you.
Yeah, exactly. They're doing
it to us. They're doing it to President Trump. Like, it was crazy. Like, when President Trump was going through his whole Southern District of New York court cases, my wife goes from this. She goes, I could just swap your name for him, and you guys are living the same exact nightmare in the same exact building where both of your lives are upside down.
And it was the stupidest shit ever, right? It's like a book entry case, like.
The piece of garbage judge that took my company is the guy that said he could have raped that woman, and that's the reason he was guilty. And no proof, but they said he could have. So being that he could have done it, or maybe, but then they release his deposition. He's like, I wouldn't touch her. She's not my type, but you're not my type. Let's be honest.
Oh, no,
I would say the same exact thing.
Yeah.
You're allowed to say somebody's not your type. I mean, they would have turned that against them now too.
Mm-hmm.
It's nuts. It's freaking nuts.
Yeah.
Well, and sadly, that's the standard for appeals too. It's like, could this possibly have happened? And could a jury have possibly believed it? Well, you're screwed.
He's still fighting for that appeal on that case.
Yeah, I think so.
He's still fighting it. I think he's trying to make the Supreme Court get involved.
Well, I think, isn't it on hold until he's no longer president anymore?
I have no clue.
They'll hear it. But...
I don't know.
But that case should be thrown out when the lady was on CNN saying, I can't wait to get paid from Trump, and I'm going to buy a house here, and I'm going to do this. Like, she was like...
Yeah, it was all about women's rights, right? Yeah, sure. Yeah. Weirdo.
So nuts.
So do you get to see, how often you see your husband, like, take the trip?
I was doing every other week. Then the kids got sick, so it'll probably be another week or two before I can see him again. So I'd like to at least do once or twice a month.
Yeah.
Like I said, I pretty much have to spend the night down there. It's a 4-hour drive, so I go down, stay in a hotel, and
In Lompoc, or do you say like in Solvang area? Solvang's nice.
Solvang. Yeah, there's Lompoc's.
Yeah.
I mean, you can. It's not that great place to stay. Solvang's only 20, 30 minutes away. So
Yeah.
Yesterday we had Lauren on, and she can go. She goes every weekend. I mean, and she said it's like barely. Are you allowed to? If you want to go every weekend, you could. They wouldn't give you like a problem. You have to announce and get on the list. And I'm just getting
it can get crowded, and then if it gets crowded, they end it or say you got to leave, or they limit your time. And like I said, it's such a long haul down there. It's like I would hate to get down there and be like, oh, sorry, you can't visit today, you know. But I think they have to give you 4 hours a month, I believe.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so far our visits have been pretty good. Like we can sit outside, we can talk for a few hours.
Oh, that's nice. You can be outside.
Yeah. Sometimes if the weather's nice, and it is, or again, like it's whoever's on charge that day. Like some say like, no, you can't go outside. Others say you can. It's just, there's no set rules, but.
Does he have a pillow? That was the issue Aaron had. They came around and took everybody's pillows.
Were they in trouble, or they just did it?
They just did it, saying you have a lump in your mattress. That's your pillow.
No, no, I think he has a pillow. I'm sure I would have heard about it if he didn't. But yeah, like, but the thing's like somebody will get caught with a cell phone, right? And then like the whole camp, you can't get movie night. You can't, you know, you can't use the library, whatever. It's everybody gets punished for some jackass like breaking the rules. Right?
Because they have, so they do movie night every night? Do they actually have like a movie theater, or is it in like the chapel?
It's in the chapel, and it's not typically the latest releases. It's usually some ancient movie, but
No.
he said it passes the time. Like the biggest problem there, I think, is just boredom, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, especially when you have like, people like your wife who are bright people who run businesses and want to work, and you know, it's nope. It's so stupid. Like 2 months ago, my husband was home, you know, working with his family, and then now he's costing the taxpayer $5,000 a month to basically lift weights and walk on a track and read.
Yeah.
But
it's like a fucked up sabbatical.
It is while actual criminals who like stab people are walking the streets, right? Like that's so infuriating.
You don't get arrested. No, they don't get arrested.
Oh, they got arrested 20 times. Whatever, you know, let them back out.
They probably give them the same knife that they used on the way out. Take this with you.
Here's your knife, sir. Take it.
There's no money in it.
You know what? I'm going to like California and New York City, and I'm just going to stand outside the precincts and be a knife salesman.
Seriously.
I'm kidding, obviously, but you know.
I know it, but it's you have to joke about it, otherwise you lose your mind because it's so infuriating. It's like, why is this asshole walking the streets? And
did you see the bombing in New York? That this guy won't even denounce that they were Islamists.
Oh yeah.
So he got. You said he got 30 months, and he just went in 2 months ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know that feeling of the first few months, and then obviously it does get better.
Mm-hmm.
Keep up with the kids. Like that's what I did. I still took them to Disneyland and SeaWorld and Universal. Like I tried to do that kind of stuff.
You try to maintain some more normality for them.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, obviously it feels different because when you're a family of 4 and now one's gone, but I think it obviously you probably don't even know what his dates are yet because they probably haven't done any of the calculations correctly where you're
yeah, honestly I find the whole thing so confusing. Like
yeah,
it's there's all these different rules and they seem to keep changing, and it depends on this or it depends on that, and it depends on your case manager, and so yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, obviously we're on the tail end for Erin. She got 27 months, so it was a few less. But so I think the dates in the beginning, I think dropped her to 24, 23 because of they stacked the good time credit or whatever.
Mhm.
So I'm assuming his is probably around, says like 20, maybe 5.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
But I mean, and they screwed up her stuff and they kept her longer, but she still spent basically a year there with getting her credit on a 27. It was like 12 months in there. But like I said, they didn't give her the full amount of halfway house she should have been able to get, which would have been 6 months. So she would have actually gotten out after probably 7 months in there.
Oh,
So
good.
I'm just trying to give you obviously some resources while we're all fighting for the bigger picture, but like stuff he needs to do inside, like they're doing everything correct, so he can get out of there as soon as possible. Also,
well, yeah, he's like, oh, my next meeting with my case manager is in August. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I think it's a state. He went in January. Is that what you said?
January, yeah.
Yeah, because I think they have 30 days to do their first one, like their first team meeting. So that'll be February, then March, April, May, June, July. Yeah, August would be the 6-month thing. And that's usually also when they start giving the 15-day credit for FSA. And then they'll have a more accurate, like halfway house date and then their home confinement date. But that's when he needs to push to make sure they're going to give him the max amount. And I think even at 30 months, it can go up to 9 months of a halfway. So, which is a lot more. I mean, it's stupid because halfway house is intended for people that have nothing. You know, they need to rebuild their lives. They don't have a house to go home to. They don't have a job to go home to or a family. And they, save up to buy a car, for rent and basically start their lives over. And it's just wasting bed spaces when they have people like my wife or your husband going into that. Because, I mean, what are you going to go get a job at McDonald's for a few months and then you're just going to come back home somewhere else? Like, it makes no logical sense. So Erin she leaves her halfway house right now and just walks to the library and she's doing an online course. So that fulfills her need there. But I would, definitely when it comes, hopefully it doesn't come to that time, but if it does, like try and push for the longest, because he'll have his cell phone again. He can do anything like that. You can have a computer if you're doing school.
Yeah, all he needs is a computer. He can work, right?
Yeah, that's where it gets tricky because you're not allowed to work for yourself unless you're a W-2, because most of these halfway houses, Erin's one is different, but most of them you pay like 25% of your income towards the halfway house. And they have this like, well, if you work for yourself or family, we can't really track exactly what you're making because they could downplay your income. So it goes back to the one size fits all because someone probably did that 30 years ago and fucked it up for everybody.
So Raegan, I know you're doing a lot of stuff on X. I know you've been since the group and whatnot. So what else? What else are you trying? What else are you doing as well?
Well, I think this group was really my first foray into this. So I feel like I'm kind of just getting started. Like I said, I kind of have to overcome my own resistance to just drawing attention to myself.
What do you think we need to do or could do more to continue? I always like to put all the minds together to see what we can do to get bigger quicker.
Ooh, good question. I think you just keep doing it or doing what we're doing, right? Like putting it on X, sending letters, like you said, making these videos, and just keep going, and hopefully it will gain more traction. I think I know somebody who I'd like to ask to join our group. So see if I can get him to join.
Somebody going through the same thing, or somebody that can advocate?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I keep in the back of my head having this thought, and I should just reach out to my contact at, what is it, the bill, whatever, front gate, whatever, for the billboard that I've done. And she's been super helpful in giving me discounts. But I'm like, I wonder how much a billboard would cost to put in Washington, D.C. that just says familieslawfare.com.
Mm-hmm. I'd pitch in towards that.
Yeah, I'll reach out to her, because I feel like that could help, and it's been pretty decent. Like the one I put up for Alice Marie wasn't bad; it was only like $1,800, but I think she gave me a good deal. The one I put up by Mar-a-Lago, because it was like $4,500, but I think it was like normally like double that. So I think she's very good. She's out of Florida, so I think she's very compassionate and kind of helping out as much as possible. But that's the kind of what's been in my head the past maybe 3 weeks. Like, I wonder what that would be, and just do it about all of us now.
I do like your creativity. I like. How long was the billboard up for?
Both of them were up for a month, because you get a 4-week run. But the one for Alice Marie was because it was a traditional billboard. They do the canvas, print.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it actually stayed up for almost 3 months, because they didn't have anybody else to rent that billboard after. So they literally just leave it up longer until somebody books that spot, and then they just send the crew out to remove the old one and put the new one up. The one by Mar-a-Lago was a brand new one, but it was a digital billboard. So obviously, I think that only ran the 4 week. And unfortunately, when I did that, I didn't know you, Mike, because I could have been like, "Hey, go take more pictures of this." But yeah, I know. Because luckily, the company, the lady that works for the billboard company, like, actually was able to send people out to take the pictures, because I'm like, I can't go to Mississippi, I can't go to Florida, so I was able to get those pictures at least. But that's been in my head, so I'll do that today. I'll reach out to her and see what's even there somewhere close to the White House, or on the route that the White House would be taking to different kind of hot spots. So
that's a great idea. I like it.
Well, you got to go analog, because there's so much stuff in the digital world that's clogging up getting noticed. So that was my so. But that's
we need somebody to like hack their cell phones so they can get the video. Like those movies, like the phones just go
like
they get the video, like, you have to part these 30 people right now. Stop whatever you do.
Well, there is some kind of like, because my buddy owns an advertising firm, and there's some kind of like program or company that does that geotagging marketing. I mean, it doesn't like just pop up but like if they're watching certain things in certain areas, like it will geotag just that area. That's what was going on with those commercials I ran, even the one for the Families of Lawfare. Like, I basically was able to put in all the zip codes that I wanted it to run.
So how do we
that was actually playing on
the White House as a whole by itself, and like the outskirts of it? There's got to be something that we could. I mean, again, tell me geotag, and all I remember is like seeing the Kash Patel documentary on the geofencing on the phones, when they track the phones the ballot boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's as far as I know. Seeing that.
Yeah, all those ads I did, the 2 that I ran for Aaron and I for Trump over Christmas and Thanksgiving last year, when the billboard was up, I tagged Mar-a-Lago, or I did the Mar-a-Lago zip codes, and then I did just Washington, D.C. And then the one that I did for all of us for the Families of Lawfare, I did it nationally, and then I could pick which apps I wanted it, or stations I wanted it to play on. So it went on like Fox News, Fox Nation, the OANN, and then that other one you told me about, the that one keeps slipping my mind. I think my brain's too full. The R, it starts with an R. Like,
RSPN.
yeah. So that one ran nationally on all of those for the Families of Lawfare one. And the only thing I did was I pulled out my zip code here, just because Aaron and I have a business. We didn't really need our faces here.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, it's a great company we use. It's called vibe.co. And I can edit it on a whole different app and program, and then upload it there. And the minimum was just $50 a day. And it runs all those, and it gives me all the statistics, all the times it ran. I think it ran over 100,000 times.
Really? That's great.
Yeah. So I feel like that's just another avenue. And then I think with this program too, just being able to help people talk about obviously their case or their family, or to get the narrative back to equal playing field.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like I said, like trying to just get everybody to continue to build our watch, and then hopefully start getting people within authority to start watching. I mean, I've said this before, Alice Marie Johnson would still be in prison right now if it wasn't for Kim Kardashian watching her jailhouse interview. I mean,
Yeah.
it's simple as that. If that would have never have happened, nobody would know who she was. She would have never been pardoned because she tried multiple times under Obama, just through the DOJ pardon bottleneck, and went nowhere. But everything was in place for her. Trump became in office, who actually has some common sense and compassion. And then Kim Kardashian just happened to see, timing was right. God was there and saw her case and got her out months later. So was kind of the thought when I asked Mike, hey, do you want to do something like that? Because it's going to bring more attention to people that aren't getting attention.
It's like get noticed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's time for us to swing and keep fight back, because just like everybody else, be quiet. And while you're quiet, they're just destroying reputationally and internally, and just crushing your soul on top of it. And
you're so defeated from the beginning because you can't tell your side of the story. And that's why I'm only kind of doing it now, because like legally we're at the end of the road. Like there's nothing more we can do in the courts. We have nothing else to lose. So it's like,
yeah,
why not start screaming, start talking?
Yeah. So that's what we all need to kind of band together. Like I said, in the chat groups and just on other calls, community over competition, I think will make us all stronger. So, but if there's anything else you want anybody to know, we've had you for a good amount of time. I know you got stuff to do. Mike, you got more pestering to do on X, and
that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do the rest of the day. I mean,
is that your full-time job now? Just on X?
I have nothing else going on. Yeah, I can't work. I can't get a job. They won't hire her because she's married to me. I mean, it's absurd, right? So what can I do? Nothing. So I have to just fight every day. I don't sleep.
It's scarlet letter, right? And you wear it for the rest of your life. Probably.
That's it. That's it.
But if there's anything else you want us to know, or people listening or seeing, just about your husband, your family, what this has done to you, and
well, I would just hope people, and I think it's becoming more the case now, are just more skeptical of their government, of their federal law enforcement. And like I said, I think people are becoming more aware of that because they've seen it more with the whole Trump nonsense. And just, don't believe everything you read. Just put some more thought, be more skeptical, because it could happen to you. Like sometimes you just have to get on the wrong side of somebody, intentional or not, and your life is ruined. And I just want to say, I believe my husband to be, he's a good man. He's always been an ethical man. I love him dearly. I believe in his innocence. If I didn't, I probably would have hit the road a long time ago because it sucks. Like,
well, I think that's what most prosecutors bet on, is trying to tear you guys apart.
mm-hmm.
I mean, it's in their playbook. So
Yeah, I mean, there's worse things in life, but this ranks up there pretty high. It's just every aspect of your life, financially, psychologically, emotionally. It's like a massive weight on you 24/7. And I probably wouldn't have stuck by him if I didn't think he was innocent. So now that he's gone and taken from me, I'm more motivated than ever to fight for him and fight the system, bring about, if not accountability, then some change going forward, that this doesn't happen to anybody else.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on, and I'm sure we'll all be talking again.
Yeah. Thank you guys for doing this, and I admire your strength and your creativity and your passion. I want to join.
Let's keep fighting, and let's keep communicating, and just continue to in the group to see what any idea, any angle. Because again, Chris is very creative, and sometimes I get spurts of good ideas, but and then somebody else might come up with something outside the box. I'm like, oh my god, this is also, we should meet to do this. If you're good at writing,
somebody else who's connected, it's
if you're good at writing, maybe put a template of a letter that we could use. I think we all download it, we print it out, and we all carry the burden of who's going to be good enough to continuously send it out. And
yeah, I think we're all motivated for sure.
Yeah, I think we are. So,
Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks for coming on, and
Yes. Yeah.
we'll see everybody next episode. Thank you, guys.
absolutely.
To it.